Well, this is the first Marvel after the credits that we've recorded since the finale of What If. And What If, they gave the spotlight to women, and that went great. I can't wait to see how this goes. Oh, wait, I know, because people are already pissed.
Of course they are.
Oh boy. All right. So, do you got a synopsis for this?
I don't have a synopsis, but I can tell you pretty much what happens in this episode.
Okay.
This is pretty much what catches everyone up to speed on who Echo is, where she comes from, ish, and splices in some scenes from Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
And we get our 90 seconds of Daredevil.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's enough for Charlie Cox.
Yes, it is. It's enough for Charlie Cox, and it's enough for the entire Twitter community to call the show woke because she kicked Daredevil once. People don't know what that word even means anymore.
Nope.
But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I thought for a split second I was watching the wrong show when I started this episode.
Why? Because of the flashbacks?
No. Because of the things that happened in the first 5 seconds of this episode.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Oh, I don't know if I consider those flashbacks. But
well, they're flashbacks to Maya's ancestors.
Yes. I thought I don't know what that was. I'm going to be honest with you. Outside of the brand new character that they made in What If, Echo might be the character I know the least about in the MCU currently.
Yeah, no, same. In fact, I thought for a split second that despite what Cohorty's actress has said in the press, because she plays a character in both this and Echo,
mm-hmm.
I thought for a split second that Cohorty was supposed to be some sort of old ancestor, but no, completely unrelated.
I thought that, and then I'm like, wait, I don't remember when, but they retconned however long ago that the foot is TMNT hand. For those that don't know, the foot is the hand, Splinter is Stick. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are a literal, and I mean literal ripoff of Daredevil.
Yep, and they're well aware of that.
Yes, there's versions of the ooze that hit them being the same thing that blinded Daredevil. I was like, wait, is this the weird demon that the hand worship are a part of? I'm like, no, wait, those are Native Americans. Never mind. What's going
on? Although young Maya was talking about dragons, so the thought did cross my mind.
I don't know. That was something else. I don't know what I was watching, but it was cool looking, and I wouldn't mind more of that. Not gonna lie, I legit forgot about her leg.
Yeah, I'll admit I kind of forgot about that too.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was cool. I saw someone comment this, and I completely agree with it. And it's something that I've brought up more times than I can physically count about living in New York in Marvel. You can be accosted by anyone from Ronin to Daredevil on a random Tuesday, because guess what? They were checking out something, and you happen to scroll on their side of the block.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty awesome to just kind of have somebody show up.
and New York is a pretty big city too. Like it all depends on which corner you end up in.
It does. It does. Um, yeah, and the fight was great. I really liked how it dipped in between like her hearing and the music. That was really good. Um, the choreography was great itself, and how they didn't make a big grandstand about Daredevil showing up. They just treated it like a thing that happens. Like, oh shit, he's here. They
It it
didn't-
it, it felt like reading a comic that like
yeah,
I bring this example like a lot of times, but there were issues in the Green Arrow run. I think it was like the John Whittick run where Black Lightning would just come in once in a while.
yeah. It's nice to have like randomly they just had Riddler show up to be a villain. I don't remember whose run it was, but I'm like, what? I'm like, oh no, Riddler would actually be a really good one for Ollie because he's not a super genius like Bruce is.
Yep.
But yeah, it's cool to have those little moments. And if anything of what they're sounding like they're going to have, the Spider-Man 4 be, if this is true, where they're going to basically make Kingpin street level Thanos, which is what he should be, you can expect to see some more people showing up.
I've been saying for a while that I wanted to see some sort of adaptation of Block Party, and this is how you do it.
It is. It'd be kind of nice. Yeah, the fight was great. I like how like Daredevil is good, but he's not an invincible omni monster, and they made a good reason of showing that. There's a good reason why he struggles against Kingpin of all people because he's a walking brick wall.
Mm-hmm.
And Maya was trained by him and multiple other people, so we're getting a hit or two in. It wasn't terrible. She did ultimately try to run away from him, and he chased after her. So this whole big, the show's woke, and then they show one picture of that first episode, and all the comments underneath it is, I haven't watched it. Did she win the fight with Daredevil? No comments answered it because instantly, if they answered it, they'd sound like a fucking moron. It's like, no, she actually got her ass beat and she ran away and tried to shoot him 17 times and failed horribly.
This is why I don't take those people seriously anymore. If I ever even did.
No, because we're going to go on to the other thing where at the end of the episode, which is going to be my rant for this episode, but we're getting to see more of her with her family, which I think is cool. I honestly don't know what this show was going to be. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, and I'm agreeing with your Twitter hypothesis. I don't know what the show's going to be. Because I don't know if they know what they wanted the show to be.
About that, I think there's a reason why we're getting all 5 episodes. And even that, this only being 5 episodes and not even like 6, or I think at one point it's supposed to be 8.
I don't remember.
Regardless, the point is, I don't think Marvel really liked what they had the first time. So this feels like, I'm not gonna say this is as bad as like Justice League or anything, but it does feel like there's a clashing of ideas.
It felt like they wanted to do a show on her because she was a character that could have gotten like 4 or 5 episodes out of, but then they realized that they really didn't know what they wanted to do. And it's one of those things where, do we make Daredevil the villain? Do we bring Kate back? Do we bring Clint back? What do we do with Kingpin? In a straight up fight, she'd still probably lose. And it's like, where are you balancing the power checks here? And like, what is Maya's end goal? So I tell you right now, if you handed me a thing and went, hey, write a show for Echo, I honestly wouldn't know.
The other thing is that, and I kind of felt this was the case when we saw that first trailer. It feels like anything they did to meddle with the series is like a direct response to how people reacted to the finale of Hawkeye. Because remember how people really didn't like the portrayal of Kingpin?
Yeah, those people are fucking stupid.
Oh yeah, no,
We're
we
gonna
know.
if we want to have that rant a little early, that entire thing drilled into people that somehow Kingpin was portrayed as weak. Need I remind you, that fucker was hit full speed at 60 miles per hour by an SUV and he laughed and got up. He then took a full point blank explosion to the face and walked it off. Then I repeat, after all of this ass beating that he took and just kept getting back up, Maya shot him in the face at point blank range and he survived. Fucking where in that did we read that they depowered Fisk? Where?
If anything, they made him they made him more OP.
Yeah, he has no infinite. I have 9,000 pounds of pure muscle and body mass, and I'm a freakazoid. He's just Vincent D'Onofrio. He shouldn't have survived that. That's not comic BS. He's just a badass.
And this is why they want him to be the street level Thanos.
People want him to be what he was in Across the Spider. No, in oh god, I forget.
Into the Spider-Verse?
Into Spider-Verse, where he was just a fucking wall with a head, and they won't take anything else. Sorry, people. We can't make Vincent weigh 1,000 pounds. Because that's what comic book Kingpin is.
Exactly.
Ay, ay, ay. But, yeah. He was never going to die at the end of Daredevil. And then people bitch like they thought he was. And then if that backlash caused them to rewrite part of this, Marvel's weak. I'm sorry. They are. They knew in their hearts they weren't going to that wasn't going to kill Kingpin and it was meant to make him look tough. If they rewrite something to make him look like he's some special ability to survive a gunshot to the head, unless just saying, no, he's just Kingpin, then Marvel are weak. I'm sorry. This is the first time I'm going to go, if you reacted to this because of people bitching that he survived a car crash at 60, a point blank explosion to the face, and a gunshot at point blank range, you all should stop making things.
Now, to be fair, they haven't actually given us an explanation for how he survived. All we see at the end of this episode is he's lying on the hospital bed.
Oh, I know. But if there was an honest knee-jerk reaction for them to change who he was to survive that, to make him seem cool instead of just being him, I'm going to be irritated. Because how that episode ended should not have triggered a response to change how Kingpin is. Because he's not any different than what he was in Daredevil. He's not.
Okay, about that. Now, while Kevin Feige may not have spoken up, one of the other producers on the show has said, yeah, as far as I know, as far as I'm concerned, the Netflix shows are MCU canon.
Well, they are MCU multiverse canon. Because for some of that stuff to have happened, some of those wouldn't make sense. They're canon through the multiverse is what his statement was. Because they're going to have to change some stuff around because, again, it's whatever. But either way, this is a Kingpin that Daredevil has been dealing with in the MCU. We're just going to put that there. He still is as tough as that Kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
It's, again, we're trying to make a show where there's the possibility where you can see Kingpin do some of the things like caving a guy's head in with a car door, but all of you need to not instantly bitch and say you don't want to see things like this because it wasn't exactly made to be the thing that they didn't promise you it was going to be. If Daredevil only shows up for 30 seconds, guess what? They didn't say he was going to be in every episode.
That is true.
We need to stop doing this. You say they promise things and don't deliver. They don't. You make up bullshits in your brains and then get mad when it's not there.
That is internet behavior 101.
And it's the worst for Marvel. It is the absolute worst. Because all of them are like, well, they didn't put it in there when I wanted them, so therefore he shouldn't have been. He never said he was going to be. Sorry. The only people you're pissing off is yourself. And then when people hand you information to prove you wrong, you go, I don't believe you. They didn't say that, and I'm not going to fact check because then I could not be irritated by logging off Twitter. But we have some extra setup for characters, which is nice. Still having Bonnie there. Still having, oh boy, what's his name at the skate rink? I don't remember if they ever even said it.
Henry?
I don't remember. There was not a whole lot of getting to know the characters before. Mom's dead. By the way, there was Kingpin. I kind of wish they would have spent a little bit more time kind of feeling out her family. Because it feels like that's what the show should be about. Honestly.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Okay, yes. His name is Henry Black Crow Lopez.
Okay.
He's a guy who's the DJ at the roller skating.
I figure it had something to do with Black Crow because it's a very specific title that felt like that should be with something. But that's cool. He's very resistant at first, which it seems like there might not be, and it seems like everyone thinks Kingpin is dead.
Yeah, that's the assumption for now.
Because they said King Killer, and it was to a number he didn't have. I hate that my brain picks up on details on this. On a saved, is sending to a phone number that he didn't have saved. Why? Because we can't. This is my biggest motherfucking pet peeve that TV shows do always. We can't have the person doing the thing that is normal because the audience would know something. Stop doing this. Stop it. That's the only reason that caller ID wasn't on that text message. Because then we would know.
Yep.
I hate it. That's lazy and it's stupid.
It's the opposite of dramatic irony, where instead of we know more than the characters, we know less, and it's frustrating.
It's lazy writing because they're trying to have a scene with making it so that the audience doesn't catch on too fast when it would make the character stupid in the scene. Because you shouldn't play the fucking pronoun game if you don't need to. No human being does that. Oh, nothing in fiction drives me more fucking insane than the pronoun game. I hate it so much. But yeah, it's okay. Here's a fun little thing we could do with it. Who do you think he's messaging if it's a character we don't know who they are?
That's a good question.
Because I know literally nothing about what's happened in this show. I've kept pretty spoiler-free on this.
You think it's one of Kingpin's assistants? Do you think it's the ASL translator?
I don't know. That's one of those things where it's like you could have said, "Hey Tammy, is that still a thing?" Where the only reason they would show the number is to not have you know a known character. And Kingpin's not one for having, at least from what I'm remembering from the runs of comics of him and Daredevil,
like an entourage,
like an entourage or a right-hand dude. he hires people, but there's no one that like sits at his desk all the time going, "Well, go get him, boss." I don't remember any. This is like fucking Hammerhead. But even then, he's with the Wrecking Crew, and we already saw the Wrecking Crew.
Yep.
Give or take, they didn't have Hammerhead. If I see Hammerhead in live action, I don't know if I'll physically be able to handle that.
Or Tombstone.
Or no, Tombstone I could handle, because I feel like they could just make a jacked, intimidating dude that has pale skin. Hammerhead needs to have a 5-foot wide forehead.
Fair.
Hammerhead is one of those people where the entire point is the fact that he has a dumb head. Like, Kingpin just needs to be a guy who's imposing. I kind of feel you need to make Hammerhead look stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll wait and see, because it's not going to be like, they're not like text messaging the Punisher, because the Punisher wouldn't care if Kingpin was dead.
No.
And I'm not really sure. I don't even know who they'd introduce in the show.
Yeah, this one has me stumped.
Yeah, because again, I don't know how much you're going to get with Kingpin, and it's only 5 episodes, and you have to cover her family stuff, whatever's going on with her ancestors, if she gets powers out of it, and then like this sounds like she's still going to like fight for an empire with Kingpin from the end of whatever trailer that showed. I don't know what's going on. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be into 5 episodes. This is the only one where I genuinely feel the critique that, did we need this one? Now, I'm not saying I hate the fact that you got a show. I wanted it. I was excited for it when it happened. But I don't know.
Yeah, like, again, I'm reserving all my judgment until we finish the show, but between the Spotlight imprint and the fact that all 5 of these are released at once, it almost kind of feels like Marvel is just kind of releasing this for the sake of releasing it.
Yeah, because nothing is coming out after that, unless I'm forgetting, is coming out after this that they've like finished, right?
Keep talking. I'm gonna look up.
Because like they did a whole big reworking with Blade. They did a whole big reworking with Daredevil. Our Armor Wars, I have no idea what's going on with it. Ironheart just went poof. I don't even know what their schedule is after this.
Agatha, Darkhold.
Agatha, that's right.
I don't know, like, I don't know what their progress is, but we're allegedly getting this towards the end of 2024.
That's probably going to be a Halloween thing.
Probably.
It would kind of be stupid if they're aiming for end of 2024 and they don't do it at Halloween. So, okay, yeah. They're probably... This probably got to the point of where they hunkered down and realized that they need to be more strict and can put out stuff that's not necessarily going to shake the entire Marvel universe, but there needs to be a point to it. And, like, be well constructed. Because, honestly, outside of introducing Kate Bishop and a little bit of stuff for Yelena, Hawkeye didn't really shatter the entire MCU. It was just a good show.
Yeah, and that's you know, despite everything going against Echo, I hope by the end of it I end up enjoying it.
I do too.
Because I don't need every show to like have a point as far as like as far as like the universe goes. I just want to enjoy what it is.
No, I could easily have them like, if you want to have all the movies be about all the big, larger than life problems, fine. You want to know what you can reserve the DC Plus stuff for? your own little thing that they were doing at Netflix, all the street level shit.
Exactly.
You can make an entire branching off thing of just like, I got to this point. Oh, wait, something happened with them. Let's scoot over to them. And then like 3 or 4 shows that don't need to be super ultra connected, but there's like 1 or 2 things in the news that let you know at what time period they're happening. And then it leads to something with Kingpin. It just could be their daily lives accomplishing something that screwed over Kingpin. It doesn't need to be a whatever. They could be doing different stuff that affects him naturally. And then after a while, he's like, I'm done with all of you. You're all dead. And then they all get coerced into something that leads into one big show with them trying to take out Kingpin. It doesn't need to be, like we said, some giant thing. Like, people, there's a reason that no one asks about Iron Fist. We don't need that again. Because that was a colossal failure that they've never hit the heights of ever again. And they don't need to. It's kind of ridiculous how every other thing they put out on Netflix, no one complained about except for one.
I still have not watched any of Iron Fist. My only exposure to him was the Defenders miniseries.
Yeah. I have a friend who was a giant fan of it, and it's not like he loves the character from comics, but he's not like, if they change his hair to brown, or I mean like to red, I'd hate it. Said that it like made him visibly irritated every second he watched it.
Ooh.
Like from writing to acting, it was just god awful. Just like, oh, okay, that's wonderful. And it's like you have Shang-Chi now. I don't think we're going to hear from Iron Fist again.
Getting back to Echo, despite like some structural issues that I'm having just based off this first episode, I don't have any complaints with like the acting.
No.
And the fact that like ASL is becoming more mainstream in media. That's just really cool.
It is. It's awesome. My second mom from the Hatfields is a ASL interpreter. That's actually, she actually used to interpret for my brother-in-law's niece. It's awesome to see. It's cool that it can be more of a regular thing. I will notice there was parts in this where they missed subtitling some stuff that Maya said. There was 1 or 2 shots where like 1 or 2 statements the other person just reacted to, and then they subtitled it along with them talking. Don't do that again. You can miss a person talking. You cannot not subtitle Maya.
Yeah, you have to be really careful with that.
Don't, even if it's a simple thing like whatever, she could be with a minor movement singing a lot in ASL. Don't leave that up for interpretation. That's A, lazy, and B, can be insulting.
Yeah. So, and any future writers or just anyone who writes out those subtitles manually, please be careful.
Yes, please. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with this, absolutely whatsoever. The acting was great. Just like you said, it's I probably feel better in a second episode. I need to know what the show's about. And it's gonna probably like have a pick a lane fast moment in about episode 3, I would imagine. Because being only 5 episodes, you really can't, what I want to say, dawdle for too long.
I can say this. I know critics have seen critics were screened the first 3 episodes, like
3. Okay.
And then the rest of the world got all 5. So I'm very.
I did hear people weren't satisfied with the ending.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what how this all shakes out.
Yeah, it'll be. We'll have to see. I'm not sure what's going on, but again, I'm happy with getting stuff like this because it is cool. You don't need to be everything, be blockbuster, blowing shit up. I can be very happy with some lower end things and just like casual stuff like this. Casual talking, I can be okay as long as there's a point to it. Just waiting to find out what it is. But yeah, all right. I got nothing else. I mean, it looks like they kill Jackass Skater guy in the next episode. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that guy.
No, really wasn't. Looks like they have a little train heist, so that could be interesting. That looks cool. More flashbacks with the what the heck was that? The Chafa. Like I heard someone saying what Echo's powers are in a Reddit post. So I don't know if she's going to get something from that eventually.
That's what I've heard.
So that would be kind of cool if that was a thing that just like she has to unlock emotionally. It just doesn't get given to her like on a happenstance. Like she actually does something that like triggers it. Cause like that could be like with for example, X-Men, the X gene. It's either normally triggered by an extreme traumatic event or puberty. It's one of those type of deals. I'd be okay with something like that. Because again, you don't need to make her shoot laser beams or have rocket propulsion. She could just have something that helps her.
Yeah.
Which again, it can make her a street level hero. That's all it is, or anti-hero, because she's perfectly okay with blowing someone's brains out. But yeah, just do something like that. It's perfectly fine. I'm okay with it. And yeah, excited to see what's coming. Just want to know where we're going.
Same.
All right, Mike, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on various social media at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterbox.com/Coach K42. And you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and that place at Ren Pop Culture. You can also find us on YouTube, on Podchaser. Consider supporting our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we.
Absolutely. And you can find me everywhere at Organoid Zero. I'll finally be back to streaming. I took a break because I was gone on my birthday thing, and then I was finishing Attack on Titan this week already, by the way. Really good if you want to catch my streams and talk to me about that. It was fucking phenomenal. And yeah, at Organoid Zero, Twitch, YouTube. Once the other parts of my cosplay start getting here, I'll be posting pics of it on Instagram and stuff like that. Yeah, everybody, I hope you have a good night, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.